Imagine standing in front of a vending machine, the kind that you might find in a bustling office or a quiet break room. You insert a dollar, press a button, and out pops your favorite snack. But what if this vending machine was a little smarter? What if it only dispensed that snack when you completed a task, like recycling a bottle or attending a meeting? This is essentially what a smart contract does, automating agreements based on specific conditions. Just like that vending machine, smart contracts operate on a simple premise. They execute transactions automatically when predetermined criteria are met. They eliminate the need for intermediaries, allowing for direct interactions between parties with trust built into the code itself. Think of a smart contract as a self-operating vending machine in the digital realm. It can handle complex agreements, like ensuring that a freelancer gets paid once their work is verified as complete. In this way, smart contracts can streamline processes and reduce the friction often associated with traditional contracts, where delays and misinterpretations can lead to disputes. But what happens if we take this analogy further? Suppose we could introduce a variety of inputs, different actions or data points that not only trigger the contract, but also dictate its outcomes. For instance, what if our vending machine offered bonus snacks for eco-friendly behaviors, rewarding users for their positive actions? This opens a fascinating dialogue about the design of incentives within smart contracts. The strange consequence is that the way we structure these agreements can profoundly influence behavior, driving people toward desired outcomes, or conversely leading them to exploit loopholes if not carefully designed. As we consider the potential applications of smart contracts, from decentralized finance to automated supply chains, it's crucial to understand how they function as programmable agreements. The very nature of these agreements invites us to reflect on the balance between incentivizing good behavior and the risk of unintended consequences. How we design these contracts may very well shape not just individual interactions, but entire ecosystems in the digital economy. What if the way we input data into a smart contract could either foster community engagement or lead to exploitation? Imagine a bustling marketplace where the interactions between buyers and sellers are governed not just by the exchange of goods, but by the very rules embedded in the contracts that facilitate those exchanges. In this world, how we define the inputs, the information we provide, can dictate the entire flow of transactions and behaviors. The inputs we choose can either cultivate a thriving ecosystem or open the door to manipulation and abuse. Consider a smart contract designed to incentivize sustainable practices. If the inputs are structured around measurable actions, like reducing energy consumption or recycling, then the contract becomes a powerful tool for positive change. Each verified action triggers rewards, creating an ecosystem where every participant is motivated to contribute. But suppose we allow for ambiguous inputs. What if participants could game the system by reporting inflated figures or manipulating data to maximize their benefits? Suddenly, the very contract that was meant to encourage sustainability could lead to a cycle of deceit, undermining trust and community spirit. This contrast highlights a crucial aspect of input systems. Their design profoundly influences outcomes. Inputs dictate the behavior of smart contracts, and well-designed inputs can lead to robust incentive structures that promote desired behaviors. Conversely, poorly designed inputs can create loopholes, inviting exploitation. Imagine two parallel scenarios. In one, a community thrives as members genuinely engage with the smart contract, reporting honest data and reaping rewards that benefit everyone. In the other, a few exploit the system, eroding trust and diluting the community's efforts. The strange consequence is that the same technology, depending on its input design, can either uplift or undermine a community's aspirations. So as we ponder how to design these input systems, we must ask ourselves, who truly benefits? How do we ensure that the incentives align with the outcomes we desire? The stakes are high, and our choices in crafting these inputs can either foster a vibrant, collaborative environment or sow discord and exploitation. In this delicate balance, we find the heart of our inquiry into smart contracts. How can we design them not just to execute transactions, but to actively shape behaviors that lead to flourishing outcomes for all involved? Imagine a bustling marketplace, where instead of traditional cash transactions, the currency flows through the invisible web of liquidity pools. These pools serve as reservoirs of capital in decentralized exchanges, allowing users to trade assets without the need for a central authority. But how do these liquidity pools manage to attract users while ensuring that the rewards remain fair and enticing? The answer lies in the carefully designed input systems that govern their operation. When a user provides capital to a liquidity pool, they receive tokens that correspond to their share of the pool. This system not only incentivizes participation, but also aligns the interests of users with the health of the marketplace. The more liquidity a pool has, the more efficient and stable it becomes, creating a self-reinforcing cycle that benefits all participants. However, the design of these reward mechanisms is crucial. Suppose the rewards are too generous, drawing in a flood of participants without sufficient capital backing. In this scenario, the rewards may diminish faster than the pool can sustain, leading to a collapse in trust and participation. Conversely, if the incentives are too meager, users may look elsewhere, leaving the pool stagnant and underfunded. The balance is delicate. What if we delve deeper into the mechanics? Each time someone trades using the liquidity pool, a small fee is charged. This fee is then distributed among liquidity providers, rewarding them for their risk. Imagine a scenario where the fee structure is adjusted, perhaps increasing during periods of high volatility. This could encourage more liquidity provision when it's most needed and discourage it when the market is stable. Yet this leads us to wonder, how do such changes impact user behavior? Are participants more likely to pull their assets during downturns, fearing a loss in rewards, or do they stay, believing in the potential for recovery? The strange consequence here is that the design of the rewards directly influences not just individual choices, but the very fabric of the marketplace itself. Effective input systems can create a vibrant ecosystem where users feel their contributions are valued. However, if the incentives misalign, the system risks becoming a playground for opportunists rather than a thriving community. This examination of liquidity pools reveals a broader truth about smart contracts and decentralized finance. Every input, every incentive, shapes not just the outcomes for individual users, but the collective experience. As we ponder the intricacies of these structures, we must ask ourselves, what happens when the balance tips too far in one direction or another, and who ultimately benefits from these designs? What happens when the very incentives designed to promote positive behavior spiral into a web of manipulation and exploitation? Imagine a scenario where a community is encouraged to report energy consumption data to a smart contract that rewards them for decreasing their energy use. On the surface, this seems like a noble endeavor, a way to foster sustainability and encourage responsible consumption. However, what if some individuals, driven by greed, start to falsify their reports? They claim to have reduced their energy consumption when, in reality, they've simply found ways to game the system. Instead of fostering a culture of conservation, the incentives inadvertently encourage deceit. This is the strange consequence of poorly designed incentive structures. They can lead to behaviors that are entirely contrary to the intended goals. The essence of the problem lies in the alignment or misalignment between the incentives offered and the outcomes desired. When we create a smart contract that rewards users for specific behaviors, we must thoroughly consider how those users might interpret and interact with those incentives. In our energy consumption example, the contract's design failed to account for the possibility of dishonest reporting, leading to a situation where those who play by the rules are effectively penalized, while those who exploit the system reap the rewards. This creates an inequitable environment where trust deteriorates, and genuine efforts to promote sustainability are overshadowed by the actions of a few. Consider, too, the broader implications of such exploitation. When users manipulate inputs for personal gain, they not only undermine the integrity of the system, but also discourage participation from honest users. This can lead to a vicious cycle where the very foundation of the community's goals begins to crumble. The intended positive outcomes, reduced energy consumption and a healthier planet, get drowned out in a sea of misinformation and distrust. Thus, as we explore the intricate dance between incentives and human behavior, we must remain vigilant about the potential pitfalls of our designs. How do we prevent an incentive structure from becoming a double-edged sword? What mechanisms can we implement to ensure that the desired behaviors are encouraged and that the system remains robust against exploitation? The stakes are high, and understanding these dynamics is crucial if we are to harness the true potential of smart contracts in creating equitable and effective decentralized systems. Imagine a community nestled in a picturesque valley, known for its vibrant local economy centered around agriculture and artisanal crafts. The residents are proud of their sustainable practices, and the local government, eager to bolster this ethos, decides to introduce an incentive program aimed at promoting eco-friendly farming techniques. They launch a smart contract that rewards farmers with tokens for every sustainable practice they adopt, like crop rotation or reduced pesticide use. At first glance, this initiative seems idyllic, a perfect blend of technology and environmental stewardship. But what if, beneath this surface of good intentions, a ripple effect begins to unfold? The strange consequence is that as farmers scramble to qualify for these rewards, they may inadvertently shift their practices in ways that are not truly sustainable. Imagine a scenario where a farmer, motivated by the allure of tokens, starts to misrepresent their methods, claiming they use organic techniques while continuing to rely on harmful chemicals. This misalignment between the incentive and the intended outcome can undermine the very sustainability the contract sought to promote. The community, initially supportive of the initiative, begins to experience backlash. Local consumers, once eager to buy from these farmers, grow wary as they discover the discrepancies. Trust erodes, and the artisan market that flourished begins to falter. The incentive structure, instead of fostering a culture of sustainable practices, creates a divide between those who genuinely adhere to eco-friendly methods and those who exploit the system for financial gain. This scenario underscores a critical lesson. Second-order consequences can significantly undermine initial goals. When designing incentives, it is essential to consider the broader community dynamics. What happens if the incentives inadvertently favor larger farms that can more easily meet the requirements, leaving small, sustainable operations struggling to keep up? The balance between promoting sustainability and inadvertently harming local economies is delicate, and it raises crucial questions. Who truly benefits from these incentives? Are we creating a system that rewards authenticity and genuine commitment to sustainability, or are we merely setting the stage for exploitation? As we delve deeper into the complexities of incentive design, we must remain vigilant, acknowledging the potential for backlash and misalignment. The stakes are high, and the path forward requires a careful examination of the incentives we create, ensuring they align with the values and well-being of the communities they aim to serve. What if the next generation of smart contracts was designed with community welfare at its core? Imagine a world where every transaction, every incentive, is a step toward a more equitable society. In this vision, ethical design isn't just a lofty ideal. It becomes the foundation of smart contract architecture. Consider a neighborhood that decides to launch a smart contract to manage local resources, like water and energy. Instead of merely rewarding individual consumption reductions, this contract incorporates a layer of community engagement. People are incentivized not just to save resources for their own benefit, but to collaborate with their neighbors, sharing strategies and insights that can amplify collective gains. This model prioritizes fairness, encouraging behaviors that enhance community well-being rather than individual greed. But how do we achieve this balance? One emerging trend is the integration of participatory design frameworks, where community members are actively involved in shaping the incentives. Imagine a platform where local residents propose and vote on the criteria for rewards based on their shared values and needs. This democratic approach not only fosters engagement, but also helps ensure that incentives are aligned with the community's priorities. The strange consequence is that by involving the very people affected by these contracts, we create a system that is less likely to be gamed, as the community itself holds the power to shape the rules. Another innovative approach comes from projects that utilize a reputation-based system. Here, participants earn reputation points for positive contributions, which can be exchanged for rewards within the smart contract ecosystem. This shifts the focus from transactional rewards to long-term relationship building. For example, a smart contract governing a community garden could reward not only the yield of vegetables, but also the time spent helping others in the garden, encouraging a spirit of cooperation. As we explore these frameworks, we must also ask who benefits and who might lose in these newly designed systems. The trade-offs can be significant. While designing for ethical incentives can lead to sustainable outcomes, it may also require more complex governance structures that could overwhelm smaller communities. The challenge lies in finding a balance that empowers individuals while preventing exploitation and ensuring that the benefits are shared equitably. Ultimately, this journey into ethical smart contract design invites us to rethink our assumptions about incentives and the role they play in our interconnected lives. What if the very fabric of our digital interactions could reinforce community values and promote a thriving society? The possibilities are as expansive as our willingness to reimagine them. Imagine a world where contracts don't just execute terms but actively learn and adapt based on user behavior. As we delve into the role of artificial intelligence in smart contract design, we find ourselves at the intersection of technology and ethics, pondering a compelling question: could AI be the key to creating smarter, more adaptive contracts that evolve with us? Picture this: a decentralized platform that uses AI algorithms to analyze transactions and user interactions in real time. These algorithms sift through vast datasets, identifying patterns in how users respond to various incentives. Instead of static rewards that might become irrelevant over time, these smart contracts could dynamically adjust based on actual user behavior, creating a more responsive and engaging experience. Let's consider a practical scenario. Suppose we have a smart contract designed to encourage sustainable energy consumption. Initially, it offers rewards for households that reduce their electricity use. However, as the months pass, the contract begins to notice a trend. Perhaps certain households consistently report lower consumption, while others do not engage at all. With AI's analytical capabilities, the contract could identify why some users succeed while others falter. Is it a lack of understanding of the incentives? Or maybe external factors like income or family size are impacting their ability to participate? By integrating AI, this smart contract can evolve its incentive structure, offering tailored guidance and support to those struggling to meet the energy-saving goals. Perhaps it sends personalized tips or adjusts the reward levels based on user feedback, ensuring that the incentives remain relevant and effective. The strange consequence here is that, rather than a one-size-fits-all approach, we create a system that not only incentivizes, but also educates and empowers users. However, we must also consider the potential trade-offs. What happens if the AI misinterprets user behavior, or if its decision-making process lacks transparency? The algorithms could inadvertently favor certain demographics over others, leading to inequities in who benefits from these smart contracts. This raises an important question. As we design these adaptive contracts, how do we ensure they remain equitable? The future directions of smart contract design lie in this delicate balance, leveraging AI to optimize incentives while remaining vigilant against biases that could emerge. If we take this premise seriously, we must ask ourselves, how can we build systems that not only adapt to our behaviors, but also reflect our values? As we venture forth, the role of AI in shaping these contracts will be pivotal, guiding us toward a more ethical and effective approach to decentralized systems. Smart contracts become more than just automated transactions. They transform into living agreements, continually learning and evolving alongside us, fostering a collaborative environment for all participants.